in the context of where we BAs need to really step up and deliver value. And then in this one, we will talk about where do we need the BAs. So again, this is where we're talking about the different contexts of the BAs and where they would really step in and help. And that's where we look at the various aspects. So for example, if you're talking about products, I'll just go back once. So you talk about products. So every kind of project that we've been doing right now, working on right now, is geared towards the product. It's about releases, the iterations. You're talking about features. You're talking about the changes that are involved. It's no more about the good old projects that we were having like before. So it's all about the product thinking. It's about thinking like a product manager or a product owner, thinking about the releases, thinking about how often can we make a major release, how can we do the minor release, how many iterations do we need to have, how many sprints do we need to have to deliver this, what are the features that we need to have, how can we prioritize these features, and then how can we actually deliver these features in the sets like the epics, the stories, and then what could be the estimation, the story points. All of these, really thinking is completely different, and that's where the orientation of a product needs to come in. And in that context, again, we need to really, as BAs, need to start thinking and behaving and acting in the form of a product and not project. You're not really talking about projects. There is a separate person who can deal with that, who's a project manager. But as BAs, we need to look at the product. And in terms of the marketing, there is another thing which is to do with the marketing of the product. Once we have got the marketing there, once we've got the product there, it's about understanding the market, creating a brand. How can we position that? What are the kind of markets, whether it's domestic, international, and then who are the customers? How can we address their needs? So all of these would really, again, give another flavor of the BA that we can really bring onto the table. And then it's about technology as well. So it's not about technology as the core, but technology is a medium. And that's where we as BAs need to be tech savvy. We need to be aware of the platforms. We need to be aware of all the underlying operating systems, different channels that we have. We also need to be aware of some of the solutions that are out there in the market, whether it could be the ones that our competitors have been up to. What are the most favorable? What are the most, under the current situations, what solutions do the people prefer? What kind of applications do they really go for? And that's where, for example, you're talking about the upcoming, or I think it's prevalent now, mobile first strategy over other things. So you need to think mobile first now, and then think about web or enterprise. And that's where you see a huge paradigm shift in the people's thinking and their lifestyle. All of these are going to influence the way we tend to think as well as BAs. And I think that's where we need to start thinking about how we can try and make this mobile first strategy into our solution. How can we have the responsive design, perhaps even native apps and things like that? Can we have the solution which works across different platforms, different channels, different kind of devices, different resolutions, different displays, all of these. Nowadays you have got the watch. So your solution should be able to work as well with a watch, a wearable device, as what we call, as much as it works with an enterprise, with a person sitting in an office on a desktop. So you need to see these, and the architecture should actually kind of help support delivering that. And that's very important. So the architect, you don't need to be an architect, but then you should work with the architects, whether it's a solution architect, business architect, enterprise architect, technical architect. We've got so many different types of architects, so we will talk about it later. But then we need to work as BAs, we need to work with them to be able to actually set the roadmap and set a way ahead for this particular solution that works pretty much with all kinds of these platforms and technologies. And in terms of the implementation, again, we need to have a look about what kind of challenges we have, what are the kind of interfaces. There are different ways that we interact with the applications now. We've got the APIs, again, which is very much in demand. So we as BAs, again, need to understand what an API is, what kind of open APIs are there, how can we interact with the applications using an API, even though you don't have to really do it yourself, but knowledge about that would really help. Again, it's all to do with the data. For example, if it's to do with the database or data stuff, you need to know that. And in terms of the processes, we've got different set of activities. We need to identify all the measures, the metrics, the KPIs. And then we should be able to come up with some kind of improvements with respect to the process and remove these bottlenecks. The kind of, if there are too much wastage in the process, how can we eliminate the waste? Muda, as what we call in the Kanban and the lean. How can we eliminate the muda? In what ways? To reduce the downtime, remove the waiting times and the wastage, and reduce the effort. So as BAs, we need to, working on a particular process, whether it could be a process re-engineering initiative, or it could be just a small little set of workflow that you have in your own organization. As a BA, you should be able to actually step up and then deliver. So that's again the aspect that we're talking about in terms of the various activities, the tasks, how you can analyze the various tasks, and then how you can actually try and contribute with respect to coming up with the key measures and the KPIs, the critical success factors, and the goals, the performance goals. All of these again are in the realm of a BA.